You are standing at the edge. Do you feel it? That emptiness, that space inside that has no shape, no name, no reason to exist. You might think it is a void to be filled, or perhaps you have tried in moments to cover it, distractions, voices, routines. But it waits, always, quietly, patiently. It is not screaming at you. It does not need to. Its power lies in its silence. Have you noticed how life continues around you, while you feel nothing at all? People laugh, doors open, music plays, and you feel like a shadow drifting past all of it. Sometimes you might look in the mirror, and for a brief moment you do not recognize the reflection, not because it has changed, but because something inside you has shifted, disappeared, and left a hollow space where identity once lived. What do you call yourself now, when the labels no longer fit? The roles you carried, the masks you wore, do they still belong to you? Or were they always someone else's idea of you? You are used to hiding, to performing, to responding as expected, and yet, even in the most ordinary day, even in the safety of routine, you feel it, the slow unraveling of something that cannot be replaced. It is subtle at first, a hesitation in speech, a pause in thought, a weight pressing in the chest, impossible to ignore, impossible to name. You may try to speak about it. You may try to tell someone, but words falter. They are inadequate. They do not reach the darkness that stirs inside you. And that darkness, it is not your enemy, not yet, but it is patient, and patient is dangerous. Sometimes you catch yourself imagining what it would mean to disappear entirely, not in violence, not in escape, but in silence, to simply let the world continue while you dissolve into the nothing that has always existed inside. It is frightening, isn't it, to realize that the mind you rely on is also the mind that can betray you, that the self you trust is also the self that can fracture and leave you hollow. Have you considered that emptiness is not absence, but presence? It is a presence that watches, that waits, that observes everything you fear to acknowledge. It is the shadow before reinvention. Though you do not yet know what reinvention means, there is no rush to understand it, no need to solve it. Let it sit, let it sink. Feel it creeping along the edges of your thoughts, curling around your chest, whispering the truths you refuse to see. You might feel the instinct to flee, to fill the space with noise, with movement, with answers. Do not sit with it. Listen to the quiet. Notice how it is not painful, not yet. It is simply there, and in that stillness, perhaps for the first time, you will realize this emptiness is yours. It has no shape, no boundaries, no expectation, and yet it has everything. You are not yet reborn. You are not yet whole. You are on the edge, and so you wait, and the void waits with you. You are not wrong for feeling this way. You think you should be something else, happier, stronger, more alive. But what you feel, what you carry, it is not wrong, it is real. There is no flaw in noticing the heaviness in your chest, no weakness in the way the mind whispers that it cannot bear another day. Sometimes you try to explain it, to put words to it, and yet words stumble. They cannot reach the edges of what you feel. And so perhaps you have stopped trying, perhaps you have learned that the world will nod politely, then continue on without noticing the silence inside you. That is accurate, that is true, and it is nothing to be ashamed of. You are not broken, not in the way the world might tell you. You are awake, and awakening is dangerous. It rips away the illusions of safety. It unmasks the lies you told yourself to survive. It leaves you exposed, raw. Feel it. Feel the weight of recognition in your bones. There is a part of you that knows everything you have hidden, that knows every fear, every shame, every moment you looked at your reflection and did not recognize yourself. And it is there, still, watching, patient. Do not try to push it away. That is exactly what the world will ask you to do. Smile, perform, act normal, pretend you are fine. But inside, the storm continues, quiet and unyielding. You may think no one notices, that no one understands. You may think your suffering is invisible, and perhaps it is, but it is not unreal, it is not imagined, it is yours. And there is power in this acknowledgement. Not power in the sense of control or triumph. That is not what I mean. I mean the cold, undeniable fact that your emotions are alive. They are dangerous, yes. They can destroy you. They can shatter everything you thought you knew. And yet, they also reveal truth. You are allowed to feel fear, anger, grief. You are allowed to feel the hollow emptiness that crawls under your skin and whispers that you are alone. Do not soften it. Do not smooth it out. Let it exist in its raw form. It is dangerous because it is honest. It is dangerous because it is unfiltered. It is dangerous because it is yours. Perhaps you have spent years hiding it, masking it, pretending it does not exist. Perhaps you have thought, if I let it in, I will fall. Yes, that is possible. Perhaps you will, and yes, perhaps you should allow yourself to fall. Falling is not failure. Falling is recognition. It is the acknowledgement that the world you live in, the self you carry, the life you perform, they are not enough to contain what is inside. And in this acknowledgement, you are seen. You are seen by yourself, not by the world, not by the voices that demand you be lighter, easier, more manageable, by yourself. And that is rare, precious, dangerous. Sit with it, breathe, let it pulse through you. It is not comforting, it is not easy, it is not gentle, it is honest. You do not need to explain it. You do not need to justify it. You do not need to become anything else. You are here. You feel you are enough for this moment. And in this silence, the first truth begins to stir. You are not broken. You are awake. You are dangerous. You feel torn. Not in the way a leaf is torn from a branch, but in a deeper, more intimate way. You are caught between what was and what is. Between the self you carried for years and the one that refuses to exist in the same skin. It begins subtly, a hesitation before a word, a fleeting doubt in the mind. Then, slowly, the hesitation grows. The doubt lingers. Every decision becomes a question. Am I doing this because I want to, or because I have been trained to? Every thought splits in two. Is this mine or borrowed? You carry contradictions inside you. One part wants comfort, security, familiarity. Another part whispers, you do not belong here. You do not belong to these routines, to these roles, to these people. And so you move through the day in fragments, a half smile, a half thought, a half life. The pieces of you never fully connect. They collide. They resist. They war silently. Sometimes you notice the tension physically, a tightening in your chest, a hollow in your stomach. Your hands tremble slightly when you realize you are thinking two opposing truths at once. You do not fight it. You cannot. The conflict exists beyond control, beyond reason, and in the quiet moments, when the world is still, you hear it, the silent accusation. You are not who you claim to be. You are not who you were. You are nothing. Do you fear it? Perhaps. Do you fight it? Perhaps. Or do you simply watch it unfold and feel the raw energy of it inside you? Because that is what it is. Raw energy, dangerous, uncontrollable, alive. Your conflict is not just pain. It is movement. It is fire. It can burn everything down or illuminate what has been hidden for too long. And yet it frightens you, the part of you that clings to old identity. It pleads for order, for clarity, for escape. It whispers, return to what you know, pretend, smile, perform, survive. But the other part, the part that has always waited in the shadows, it does not plead, it only waits, and it watches, and it knows that survival will not suffice. You might imagine that others could help you untangle this. You might imagine that someone could see inside you and make it stop. But this conflict, this inner war, it belongs only to you. It cannot be outsourced. It cannot be explained. It must be felt, fully, brutally, without apology. Notice how exhausting it is, how heavy. It is not a weight to carry in the ordinary way. It is a weight that tests the bones of your mind, that challenges every definition of yourself, that refuses compromise. And in this tension, something begins to emerge, a quiet, subtle awareness that you are not one thing nor the other. You are both, neither, something beyond the familiar categories. Do not rush to name it. Do not rush to make it safe. Let the conflict sit. Let it burn quietly in your chest. Notice the dangerous clarity it brings. The moments of unbearable tension are also moments of truth. You are fragmenting. You are dividing. And yet, in this division, the first hint of what could rise begins to form. You do not need to resolve it. Not now. You do not need to choose. Not yet. You only need to witness, and in witnessing, you begin to know yourself more fully than you ever have before. You are conflicted, you are alive, and in this tension, the mind begins to stir. It happens quietly, not with a scream, not with a crash, not with a warning. The walls inside your mind give way, and you feel the pieces of yourself slipping one by one. Perhaps it is a memory half forgotten, rising without invitation. Perhaps it is the weight of every day you pretended to be okay. Perhaps it is nothing at all, except the darkness noticing that you finally stopped fighting. Your chest tightens, your stomach sinks, and yet nothing falls out. No tears, no cries, no escape. It is not theatrical. It is not dramatic. It is quiet. It is complete. It is devastating. You feel hollow, not empty. Hollow, as if something essential has been removed, and what remains is a fragile shell, echoing with memories and fears. You may try to label it anxiety, grief, fatigue, but the truth is beyond words. It is the collapse of certainty, the disintegration of comfort, the recognition that you are no longer contained by what you once were. You sit with it, or perhaps you stand, or walk. The world continues around you, unbroken, indifferent, and you fracture silently inside. There is no one to witness this, no one to offer a hand, no one to say, "It is all right." Because it is not all right, and that is exactly what makes it so real. You notice the smallest things, a slight tremor in your hands, the shallow rhythm of your breath, the faint ache in your jaw. They are reminders that the breakdown is happening in real time, in this body, in this mind, in this hollow space. And perhaps there is relief in that. Relief in the surrender. Relief in admitting that the structures you relied on have failed. Relief in finally letting the pressure rise unchecked, unfiltered, unshaped. Your thoughts spiral. They do not form sentences. They do not make sense. They are fragments, images, sounds, shadows. Sometimes you hear voices you do not recognize. Sometimes you feel emotions too large to contain. They are not gentle. They are not safe. They are alive. And alive is dangerous. You may try to speak. Perhaps a word escapes. Perhaps not. You may try to move. Perhaps you pace. Perhaps you freeze. Either way, you are unmade, piece by piece, cell by cell, thought by thought. And in this unmaking, you begin to see the truth of it, that the self you carried was never fixed. It was temporary. It was borrowed. It was fragile. And now, the fragility is undeniable. It is not destruction for the sake of destruction. It is preparation, not hope, not promise, not solution, just preparation. The tears do not come. The cries do not come. There is no dramatic release, only the slow, relentless erosion of certainty, the subtle cracking of identity, the quiet acknowledgement that something inside you has died. And in that death, there is awareness, the awareness of vulnerability, the awareness of danger, the awareness that nothing you cling to can hold you safe. Sit with it, breathe, do not try to fix it, do not try to escape, let it unfold, let it consume, let it speak. You are broken, you are empty, you are exposed. And yet, in this silence, in this hollow, something waits, something beyond despair, something beyond fear, something that has always been there, quietly watching. And now you notice it. The darkness that has been sitting quietly in the corners of your mind, the part of yourself you refuse to see. It stirs. It is not polite. It does not ask permission. It waits for no one. This is your shadow, not metaphor, not theory, not something to be read about in a book. It is real, tangible, alive. It is the sum of all the fears you denied, the anger you suppressed, the desires you called wrong. It is the part of you that whispers the truths you are afraid to hear. Do you fear it? Perhaps, and perhaps you should. It watches you as you tremble, as you fracture. It is patient. It does not care about your comforts, your routines, your masks. It wants nothing from you, except honesty. Notice how it reflects the parts of yourself you tried to hide. The bitterness, the envy, the rage, the unspoken need to escape everything you once clung to. All of it, right there, in the darkness, waiting. You may try to look away. You may try to convince yourself it is not there. But it will not vanish. It cannot. This is the truth Jung spoke of. The shadow is not to be destroyed. It is to be recognized, named, felt, and in recognition, you begin to understand your own danger, your own power. Because the shadow, it is not weakness. It is energy. It is raw, unfiltered, dangerous. It is what you deny when you cling to comfort. It is what you deny when you insist on pretending. It is what makes you fully human. Look closer. Do not flinch. Notice how it mirrors your behavior, your choices, your fears, the moments you hurt yourself, unknowingly to appease the world. The shadow knows them all. It waits not to punish, but to show you what you refuse to admit. You may feel shame, guilt, horror, good. Feel it fully. Let it surge like a wave through your chest. Do not fight it. Do not soften it. It is honest. It is not kind. It does not care whether you like it. And slowly, you begin to see patterns, the lies you told yourself, the compromises you made, the ways you denied your own instincts, all illuminated in this cold, dark light. It is uncomfortable, terrifying, yet necessary, because only in facing this shadow do you begin to see yourself without illusion, not the self you perform, not the self you hope to be, but the self that exists beneath the masks, the one you have been hiding from, and hiding from yourself. You may want to retreat. You may want to turn back to comfort. Do not. Sit with it. Feel its weight. Notice how it moves inside you like fire in cold water, dangerous, alive, indestructible. And in this recognition, a quiet shift occurs, not relief, not joy, just clarity, a cold, unsettling awareness that what has been feared is only part of what you are, and that the shadow is not an enemy, it is a guide, a mirror, a pulse of life you cannot ignore. You are not broken, you are not weak, you are whole in a way the world does not allow, and this is only the beginning. You begin to withdraw, not violently, not as an act of rebellion. Imply, quietly. The world, with its noise and its demands, begins to recede. You no longer respond with instinctive emotion. You no longer react to the urgencies of others. You watch, you observe. You let it unfold without attachment. It is not indifference, not yet. It is the recognition that nothing outside can reach the weight inside, that no person, no routine, no gesture can alter the storm that lives in you. Perhaps at first you feel guilt at ignoring calls, messages, expectations, guilt at letting the world continue without your usual participation. Do not resist it. Let it wash over you. It is part of the process. Your mind turns inward, slowly, deliberately. You notice thoughts you never allowed before. Dark thoughts, cruel thoughts, necessary thoughts, and with them, a curious clarity. The chaos does not frighten you as it once did. It is familiar now, and familiarity breeds control, or something like it. People may reach for you, attempt to pull you back. They do not understand. They never will. Do not explain. Do not justify. Your withdrawal is not a plea. It is an acknowledgement, a boundary, a containment of the dangerous energy within you. Notice how your emotions begin to flatten, not disappear, never disappear, but become measured, detached, like ice flowing over fire. You can feel the heat beneath the surface, but it does not burn you. Not anymore. It is a controlled danger, a latent force. Perhaps you realize that the world no longer provokes you in the same way. Old triggers lose their power. Old fears dim. You watch, and the observation is both liberating and isolating. You notice how deeply you have changed. Not externally, not in obvious ways, but internally in the architecture of thought and feeling. The mind that once screamed in panic now ponders in cold curiosity. The heart that once raced in terror now beats in measured rhythm. And yet, there is a cost. Detachment is not peace. It is not warmth. It is not comfort. It is the careful containment of something that could easily destroy if released. You are no longer the person who reacts automatically. You are observer, witness, silent architect of your own internal order. And that is dangerous, because the world assumes you will behave as it expects. But you no longer do. You no longer must. Notice how strange it feels to feel nothing, to watch events unfold without the familiar surge of panic or longing. It is unsettling, yes, uncomfortable, and yet essential. This is the phase where you learn that survival is not external. It is internal. You learn that safety is not in the people who surround you, nor in the routines you once depended on, nor in the voices that demand you conform. It is within you. A cold, silent power that requires observation, detachment, and discipline. And in this detachment, you begin to sense the possibility of the next stage, not awakening, not return, but readiness, a quiet gathering of energy, a slow, cold preparation for what comes after the void. You are here, alone with yourself, detached from expectation, detached from comfort, and in that detachment, you are unafraid. And then, something shifts, not with a flash, not with warmth, not with celebration, a quiet change, almost imperceptible at first, a subtle awareness, a pulse beneath the numbness, stirring where there was only void. You feel it as a calm in the chest, not joy, not relief, not hope. It is cold, it is still, and yet it is undeniable. The world no longer presses at you in the same way. The chaos of life, the noise of others, the demands, they exist, but they no longer intrude into the place within you that is yours alone. And in that separation, in that cold distance, you begin to sense power. It is not power in the sense of control over others. It is not power as achievement. It is power as presence, as clarity, as the quiet knowledge that nothing outside can unmake you, because you have already faced yourself. Notice how the emotions that once consumed you, the rage, the fear, the despair, they are no longer destructive. They are contained, measured, waiting, still dangerous, still alive, but harnessed like fire within ice. You do not lose yourself in them. You observe them, you acknowledge them, and in that acknowledgement, strength emerges. It is strange. You do not feel lighter. You do not feel whole. You do not feel warm. You feel capable, and capability in this state is a silent, unsettling thing. Perhaps you realize that the self you feared to lose is not lost. It has transformed, not into what the world expected, not into what you expected, but into something sharper, clearer, something that can exist without illusions, without lies, without masks. You may feel a hint of distance from others, a quiet separation that surprises you. They have not changed. You have, and the world will never fully understand the still, cold force that now resides in you. Do not apologize. Do not explain. Notice how subtle it is, this return. It is not dramatic. It is not sudden. It is like a glacier mow. Ving in silence beneath the surface. Slow, immutable, unstoppable. You feel the edges of your mind sharpen. Your thoughts are clearer. Your perception, precise. You notice patterns, truths, dangers you missed before. The past no longer haunts you. The present no longer overwhelms you. And yet, it is not comforting, it is unsettling. You are aware of your own capacity, of the latent danger you carry, of the energy you have contained, and which could consume if released. This is power, quiet, dangerous, cold, not used to dominate, not used to control, used only to inhabit the self fully, to move through the world with awareness, to survive, with eyes open. And in this cold awakening you understand, nothing outside can touch you now, nothing outside can diminish you, because the void you faced, you carried it within, and in carrying it, you became stronger, not stronger in joy, not stronger in light, stronger in the dark. You are not whole, you are not healed, you are awake, and that is enough. You stand alone, not in triumph, not in victory, not in relief, alone with yourself, as you have always been, as you always will be. And that is the reality you must face. Nothing has changed outside. The world is the same. The people, the routines, the noise, they continue. And yet, you are different, not brighter, not lighter, not softer, different in the cold, subtle way that cannot be explained. You have witnessed yourself in ruin. You have faced the shadow you tried to deny. You have moved through emptiness, detachment, and silent collapse, and in all of it, you have seen not solutions, not answers, not hope, only truth. The truth of what exists within, and it is unsettling. Perhaps you feel relief. Perhaps you feel fear. Perhaps you feel nothing at all. All of these are true. All of them coexist, and that is the point. You realize that the self you once relied on, the one the world knew, the one you performed, the one you believed to be whole, it no longer exists. It has been unmade, observed, and transformed. And in its absence, you find presence, a quiet, cold presence. You may wonder, what now? What do you do with this emptiness? What do you do with this clarity? The truth is nothing. There is no instruction, no map, no safe passage, only inhabitation, the inhabitation of what is. Notice how the emptiness persists. It does not comfort you. It does not heal you. It waits, it watches, and in its waiting, you begin to understand its power. You are not the same. You are no longer entirely vulnerable, nor are you entirely safe. You are in between, a space that cannot be named, a mind that cannot be tamed, a presence that exists without explanation. Perhaps this is frightening. Perhaps it is liberating. Perhaps it is both. Perhaps the distinction does not matter anymore. The world continues, and you continue within it, quietly, deliberately, in a way no one can touch. You feel the cold pulse of awareness in your chest, the shadow you once denied, integrated, not conquered, the breakdown you once feared, survived, not avoided, the emptiness you once resisted, inhabited, not escaped, and in this inhabitation you find a strange kind of power, not the kind praised in stories, not the kind measured by wealth or status or applause, but the kind that exists in stillness, in observation, in the calm acceptance of what is, without illusion, without expectation, without relief. Sit with it. Breathe. Let the quiet settle over you like a thin, cold sheet. Notice the danger that lies in it. Notice the clarity. Notice the awareness that nothing outside can unmake what has been faced inside. You are not reborn. You are not healed. You are awake. You are whole in the dark. And as the world continues indifferent, you remain unseen, unshaken, a quiet force of awareness and presence, nothing more, nothing less, and that is enough.